Hello again. All right, for this craft we are making dragon boats. We talked about the dragon boat races for the festival that is like a summer solstice festival in Vietnam, in China, and other places. So this is the dragon boat that I'm going to show you how to make. This is the one that I did, and I haven't decorated the sides yet. I'm going to do that. This is one that my son Jason made, and he worked on his head and hasn't done his sides yet either. But I think he put so much work into this that he didn't want to do the other side, so his is only the one side, which is fine. And then Laura did, let me grab hers, she got very into this one. She did 2 milk cartons, because we have them. She did a rainbow dragon with wings and a tail, and she did work on decorating the sides. She even has a little paper chain and anchor here, so she got very into it. But I'm going to show you how to do this one like mine, and you can do yours however you like. I'll just give you the idea of how to do it. So we will need your milk carton, we'll need tape, we'll need a couple pieces of paper, scissors, a pencil to do the first drawing of our dragon, and then colors to color it in however you would like. So the first step is covering the sides. So I am going to take a piece of paper, long sides on the sides, short sides on the top and bottom. I'm going to fold that long ways so that I have a long skinny piece of paper. I am going to cut that in half. So I have 2 long skinny pieces of paper. Okay, now when I put mine on to my milk carton, I'll show you, I put the paper up a little bit because I think this will probably actually float in water. So when I set it in the water, I was going to see if I could not get my paper too wet. So I gave it a little space there. I just tried to cover up the picture so that I could color over it. But I'm going to try to float this in my bathtub. So we're going to put our piece of paper, we're going to cover this top front bit with the dragon head. So we don't need to cover that with this piece, but we do want it to wrap around the flat bottom piece. And so I am going to figure out where I want it, the height I want it from the bottom, and I'm going to tape it down that way. So it's going to be a lot easier if you have it set down on something. So I'm going to tape, and you should all have rolls of tape in your bag, so you don't have to worry about how much you're using up, because this might use a bit of tape. Wrap that around the bottom, and then I'm going to fold it inside. Now, in my opinion, this doesn't have to be done very well, but you know, that's me. I don't think things need to be perfect. So I'm going to fold that in, and if you want that to stay, maybe put a couple pieces of tape in there to keep your paper from moving around. Okay. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I have this one, I still see the color on the top. I've got it wrapped around and covering a good chunk of the back. And I will then do the same thing on the other side. I'll leave this front. I'll figure out how high up I want that and start taping and wrap it around the back, and then fold it in and tape it down a couple places. And just doing it that way, I figured out that if you fold it in while you're holding it, it'll kind of stay, and you can tape it that way also. So like I said, you all sometimes do things a little different than I do, which is fantastic. this is just one way to cover this. So if you have a different idea, go for it. Okay, so you, if you want, can start decorating that now, or you can wait and see how your dragon turns out, because mine changed while I was making the head. So I'm going to continue the same kind of color and scale markings that I did. And I don't know if I would have known that that's what I was going to do before I started my head. So the next part is going to seem a little tricky, but we can do it. To make the head, we are going to take another piece of paper, and we're going to fold it the other direction this time. So we want the long ends on the top and the bottom, and we're going to fold it this way. So we've got the wider side. I'm forgetting right now. Everyone has different things they call these. This is like the hamburger way instead of the taco way, things like that. But not the tall, skinny way, the longer way. Okay, now I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to measure how tall from where my paper starts here to the top of the milk carton. So, oh, you can't really see my line. So I want an idea of how tall that is, because that's where it's gonna fold around on here. So I want to know where my body is gonna be. Okay, so what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a dragon head on each side of this folded piece of paper, and then we're gonna put it on to the front like that. Now you can see where my mark is, lines right up with the top of that, so I know that's where my body is gonna be. So that is going to be folded onto there, and I'll show you. Whoa, let's not throw that. Okay, you can see where my dragon that I did ended here. And this one didn't line up, but that's because Jason and I accidentally switched bottoms that we were using, but yours would hopefully line up. Okay, so you've got your piece of paper, and you've got a line down here to see how much is going to cover the milk carton. Now we're going to draw our dragon. Now I'm going to give you a basic idea of how I did it, and you're going to make your head however you want. Let's see, I just am going to move my globe here so that I can use this book to draw on to show you what I'm doing. Okay, this is going to seem a little complicated, but once you get the idea, it's not too bad. So I am going to use this, the creased side. That's going to be my front. That's going to be the side the dragon head is facing. Now if you don't get this just like this, it's totally fine. You can have it separated. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. Okay, so this is going to be the very front of my boat. So I'm going to have my neck come up. I'm going to have it come in a ways because I want room for my head right here. And then my body is going to come up. I'm going to make my head like that. I've got kind of a volcano shape. Now for my head, I'm going to make a big oval. And you can kind of see that's what my head looks like, except for now I'm going to take a chunk out of, so maybe from about the middle, come down and take a chunk out. So, what do we want to call that? I don't know, a little valley there. And then I'm going to erase the top part of my oval so that I have a head shaped like that. You might want to watch this before you do yours so you can decide if you want to change yours a little bit. So I'm going to put my eyes here, and I'm doing kind of snake eyes there. I'm going to put nostrils here. I'm going to put my mouth here and maybe make some teeth. Maybe erase that little bit there. And then I might start making my, what do we call those, spikes? I don't know. Down the back. So that is one way to do a dragon head. And then you would just decorate that. So you may need to rewind that and watch that again. So we first made our volcano shape, then we put an oval, and then took a chunk out of the front. You see, I've got this folded this way. So I'm actually going to cut mine out before I start decorating it, because I'm going to want to see how I want to do both sides. So I tried to match mine. You don't even have to, and you can just do the one side if you want. But I'm going to cut mine out, and I'm not going to do a fantastic job, just kind of around the outside. To be a little bit more dragon shaped. So now that mine is cut out, and I did not cut, so it doesn't matter if you do, you can just tape it back together, but I did not cut along the bottom of that crease. That's going to be, I'm going to tape that on to the front of my boat here. But if you don't end up with those connected, you just tape it back together, no big deal. But I cut mine out so that if I want to, I can turn it over on the other side and do a dragon head, maybe kind of similar to mine. And I actually had Laura even tape hers to a window so that she could see the lines through. You can actually almost just see it through with the sun I've got here. You can see my eye there. You can trace your own lines if you want to be more precise. So after you have that decorated, you also, if you want, can erase this line or just color over top of it, but that doesn't need to be there. That was just for measuring. So the next step is to actually put it on to your boat. So we're going to do the same thing we did before, is figure out how we want it lined up on the bottom and start taping the bottom. And I'm wrapping it around this top piece here. So I'm going to tape this bottom down. Now you may spend a long time, I spent quite a while just coloring mine before I taped it down. And you'll probably want to color your head, because it's going to be really difficult to decorate when it's taped up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just tape mine so that I can show you the next part. Just use a couple pieces here. Like I said, you might end up using quite a bit of tape on this. And that's why I gave you a roll. Okay, now I've got the tape to the bottom and my head's all flappy. So now I want to tape the head. I'm going to start tape here, here. This one might have a hole through the front, or maybe I try to tape it up all the way. So I'm going to tape the front, the nose, the head, but I'm going to leave the back open. So you're going to tape along the front edge and leave the back open. You can see that this one, this is kind of just a, maybe where the driver is in the boat. Maybe you do leave a hole there so that they can see through where they're going. I'm going to tape my heads together here and then finish decorating the sides, and I'll have a dragon racing boat. Okay, that was a long one. Hopefully you understood. If not, you can always, your parents can always email me, you can ask questions. But that's the general idea. We're putting a dragon head onto the front of a milk carton, and I'm going to find out if mine can float. All right, bye.